Before we dive in, if you're finding these health tips helpful, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me, and it helps this content reach more men who need it. I've dedicated my career to men's health, and every bit of support makes a difference. Thank you. Now, let's talk about your prostate. If you're over 60 and you're waking up multiple times at night to urinate, feeling a weak stream, or sensing constant pressure down there, you're not alone. What many men don't realize is that it's not just age or genetics. In fact, in my clinical experience, one of the main reasons your prostate is enlarging comes down to daily habits. Small things you do without thinking that silently cause your prostate to swell, tighten, and restrict your bladder. I'm Dr. Mariah, and for over 30 years, I've helped men take back control over their health. And here's what I want you to know. The prostate is incredibly sensitive to what you eat, drink, how you sit, how often you go to the bathroom, even when you go to bed. These may sound like small details, but in a man over 60, they can fuel inflammation, hormonal shifts, and blood flow issues that make the prostate grow larger and stiffer with time. And once that swelling begins, it doesn't stop unless you do something about it. In this video, I'll reveal the 5 most common daily habits that quietly damage your prostate, along with natural, proven strategies to reverse the process. No medications, no invasive procedures, just real solutions. Because you shouldn't have to live in discomfort. You shouldn't have to fear the urge to pee every hour. And you absolutely shouldn't accept this as normal aging. Let's begin by uncovering the first habit that could be disturbing your prostate every single night. Let's start with something simple, something you probably believe is harmless, even healthy. But for men over 60, it's one of the most common triggers of nighttime urination, interrupted sleep, and worsening prostate pressure. I'm talking about your evening beverage habits, especially those late-night cups of tea, relaxing herbal infusions, or even a single glass of wine after dinner. You might think they help you wind down, but what they're really doing is waking your bladder up, inflaming your prostate, and disturbing your entire hormonal rhythm. Here's what happens. As we age, the bladder becomes more sensitive to volume and stimulation. And when you combine that with a slightly enlarged prostate, which is already pressing against the urethra, even small amounts of fluid at night can create big urgency. Caffeine, alcohol, and even certain herbal teas like hibiscus or peppermint can act as diuretics, meaning they increase urine production. Worse, they irritate the bladder lining and can trigger nerve signals that feel urgent, even when there's very little urine to release. That's why so many men are jolted out of deep sleep at 2 or 3 a.m., feeling like they're about to burst, only to release a slow, unsatisfying stream. But this is more than just a bathroom issue. When your sleep cycle is interrupted, your hormone production takes a hit, particularly testosterone. Deep sleep is when your body restores balance, calms inflammation, and regulates prostate size. Repeatedly waking at night weakens this process, creating a feedback loop. Poor sleep leads to more hormonal imbalance, which leads to more prostate swelling, which leads to more sleep disruption. And it all starts with a simple drink after dinner. This is a habit many of my patients never even questioned, until they stopped and everything began to change. If you want to protect your prostate and regain deep, uninterrupted sleep, stop all liquid intake at least 2 hours before bed. If you're thirsty, sip a small amount of room temperature water, nothing cold, nothing caffeinated, and definitely no alcohol. Your bladder will thank you. Your hormones will reset, and your prostate will finally get the rest it needs. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something just as common, but even more overlooked. The sitting habit that's slowly starving your prostate of circulation. Most men never think twice about how much time they spend sitting, or how they sit. But if you're over 60, the way you sit each day might be choking the blood flow to your prostate, weakening the pelvic floor, and making the symptoms of an enlarged prostate even worse. I see this constantly in my clinic. Men who've retired, spend more time at home, and naturally fall into long periods of sitting on the couch, at the table, or in the car. And over time, it adds up, not just in stiffness, but in swelling, pressure, and inflammation in the pelvic region. Here's the science behind it. When you sit for extended periods, especially in a slouched or compressed posture, you reduce circulation to your lower pelvis. That includes the prostate, bladder, and surrounding muscles. Without adequate blood flow, tissues become inflamed, oxygen delivery drops, and the body struggles to flush out toxins and excess fluid. This contributes directly to prostate congestion, which makes the gland heavier, more sensitive, and more likely to push against the urethra. It also weakens the muscles that support healthy urinary flow, which is why many men feel less control over their bladder as they age. The bad news? You're probably doing it for hours each day without realizing it. The good news? The solution is surprisingly simple. I ask all my patients to stand up and stretch for 2 to 3 minutes every 30 to 45 minutes, especially after meals or during long periods of sitting. Rotate your hips, roll your shoulders back, and if possible, take a quick walk around the room or outside. And if you work at a desk or spend time in the car, invest in a lumbar cushion or seat pad that improves posture and opens up the pelvic area. Little changes like these reduce pressure, improve circulation, and give your prostate room to breathe. Don't underestimate this. You can eat perfectly and take all the right supplements, but if you're starving your pelvic region of blood flow daily, your prostate will remain inflamed and congested. Your body needs oxygen, mobility, and movement to function, not just medicine. In the next chapter, I'll share a surprising bathroom habit that most men believe is helpful, but may actually be worsening your urinary symptoms and putting more stress on your prostate. Let's talk about a habit almost every man has, and almost every man gets wrong. It happens in a place we visit multiple times a day, the bathroom. Specifically, I'm talking about how you urinate. It may seem automatic. You stand, you go, and you leave. But what if I told you that your current bathroom habit may be creating pressure buildup inside your prostate, straining your bladder, and worsening urinary symptoms over time? This is a small change that can have a big impact. Here's the problem. Most men try to force urination, pushing hard to empty the bladder faster, especially when they're in a hurry or frustrated by a weak stream. But this straining behavior activates abdominal pressure, tightens the pelvic floor, and compresses the prostate even more. Over time, this pressure can lead to internal swelling, incomplete emptying of the bladder, and even minor urethral trauma. And the cycle continues because the more you strain, the more swollen your tissues become and the weaker your stream feels. Another common issue, hovering or shifting posture during urination, especially in public restrooms. Many men unintentionally contract muscles they should be relaxing, which leads to poor flow and even the feeling that it's never all out. Add this to an already enlarged prostate, and you have the perfect storm: tension, inflammation, and chronic urinary frustration. What feels like a simple action becomes a daily source of stress on your pelvic health, and your sleep, your comfort, and your confidence all begin to suffer. The solution? Relaxation and posture correction. When urinating, stand with feet firmly grounded and knees slightly relaxed. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Never push. Let gravity and the bladder do the work. And if your stream is especially weak or inconsistent, I often recommend trying a seated position at home, especially first thing in the morning or before bed. This posture reduces pelvic tension, helps fully empty the bladder, and lowers the pressure around the prostate. It may feel unusual at first, but many of my patients say it's one of the best changes they've ever made. In the next chapter, we'll discuss something even more surprising: a popular health food that may be secretly feeding prostate inflammation every single day. You've been told it's one of the healthiest foods you can eat. You see it in salads, health bars, smoothies, and even in prostate-friendly meal plans. But what if I told you that this nutrient-rich food is silently feeding inflammation in your body, particularly around the prostate? I'm talking about soy and its many forms: soy milk, tofu, soy protein isolate, and even the soy flour hidden in baked goods. While soy may benefit some people, for men over 60, it can quietly contribute to hormonal imbalance and tissue swelling where you least want it. Here's the issue. Soy is packed with phytoestrogens, plant-based compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. And as a man, Especially an older man, you don't want to flood your body with estrogen-like signals, especially not when your testosterone is already declining with age. The prostate is extremely sensitive to hormonal shifts. When estrogen-like compounds are consistently present, the prostate can become congested, inflamed, and swollen. And you might not connect the dots because soy hides behind a health food label. But that's not all. Soy also contains anti-nutrients like lectins and phytates, which interfere with mineral absorption, especially zinc, which is one of the most important minerals for prostate health and testosterone production. Without enough zinc, your body can't regulate inflammation properly. Over time, that imbalance can lead to more frequent urination, discomfort during voiding, and even more aggressive enlargement of the prostate tissue. I've seen many patients feel frustrated with their symptoms, unaware that the protein shake or veggie burger they've been eating every day is making things worse. The fix? Limit or avoid soy-based products altogether, especially processed forms like soy protein powder, soy milk, or fake meats. Instead, turn to zinc-rich, prostate-safe foods like pumpkin seeds, eggs, wild salmon, and lean meats. These foods support healthy hormones without sending the wrong signals to your prostate. And if you're eating plant-based, rotate in lentils, chickpeas, and chia seeds in moderation, which are far less estrogenic. In the next chapter, I'll reveal the fifth and final habit, one that hides behind good intentions, but actually traps fluid inside your pelvic region and keeps your prostate inflamed all day long. This final habit is often adopted with the best of intentions. Many men begin doing it as part of a new health routine, thinking it will improve their circulation, reduce swelling, and boost recovery. But for men over 60, especially those with an enlarged prostate, this seemingly healthy practice can actually trap fluid in the pelvic region, tighten key muscle groups, and make urination even more difficult. I'm talking about excessive cycling and certain types of high compression training that restrict blood and lymphatic flow to the prostate. Let me be clear, movement is essential. Staying active is one of the best things you can do for your health, prostate included. But certain positions and routines can work against you. Sitting on a narrow bike seat for long periods, for example, places direct pressure on the perineum, the area between your anus and genitals, which is exactly where the prostate sits. That pressure not only compresses the gland, but also limits fluid drainage from the surrounding lymphatic system. The result? Swelling, tenderness, and lingering inflammation that can last for days. The same applies to activities involving tight pelvic compression gear, like certain yoga positions, weightlifting belts, or high-tension underwear worn during training. When your pelvic area is under constant constriction, fluid can accumulate. And if your prostate is already enlarged or sensitive, this creates even more discomfort, interrupted flow, and sometimes even pain. The biggest issue? Most men don't connect these symptoms to their workout habits. They just assume it's part of getting older. But it's not. It's a mechanical stress that can be adjusted and corrected. The solution? Modify your routine. If you enjoy cycling, choose wider, prostate-friendly saddles and take standing breaks every 10 to 15 minutes. Avoid overtraining your pelvic floor. Focus on gentle mobility, walking, swimming, and bodyweight exercises that improve circulation without direct compression. And most importantly, listen to your body. If a workout leaves your pelvic area feeling sore, tight, or heavy, it's a signal, not a punishment. Respecting that signal can help reduce inflammation, improve urinary flow, and support long-term prostate health. In the final chapter, I'll show you how to bring all this together and introduce a daily routine I give to my own patients to protect their prostate for life. Now that you've learned the 5 habits that silently enlarge the prostate, you might be wondering, so what do I do instead? That's a question I hear from almost every patient. And the answer is this: you don't need complicated routines, expensive supplements, or drastic diets. What you need is consistency, a daily rhythm that gives your prostate the space, support, and signals it needs to return to balance. I call it the prostate reset routine, and it's something I've recommended to thousands of men with excellent results. Here's how it works. First, start your day with movement within 30 minutes of waking. A short walk, some hip stretches, or gentle squats help improve circulation to your lower pelvis and reduce fluid stagnation. Combine this with a large glass of water first thing in the morning, not at night, and your bladder will thank you. Next, eat a zinc-rich breakfast, 2 boiled or scrambled eggs, a handful of pumpkin seeds, or a slice of avocado on whole grain toast. Avoid coffee on an empty stomach if you have urgency. It spikes cortisol and irritates the bladder. Midday, avoid long periods of sitting. Use a reminder on your phone to stand and stretch every 45 minutes. After lunch, take a slow 10-minute walk. And if you're at a desk all day, make sure you're seated on a cushion that supports your spine and opens your hips. This protects your circulation and reduces pelvic tension. Drink your fluids earlier in the day, tapering off after 6 p.m. so your bladder can rest overnight. Remember, the goal is not just to reduce trips to the bathroom. It's to restore hormonal flow, reduce pressure, and give your prostate room to heal. Finally, end your day with calm. Power down screens 1 hour before bed, dim the lights, and do 5 minutes of deep breathing or meditation. This signals your nervous system to shift into recovery mode, which is essential for reducing internal inflammation. Avoid soy, processed foods, and anything that made the list of harmful habits. And once a week, try a warm sitz bath or hot compress on the lower abdomen. It improves blood flow and soothes the entire pelvic region. You'll be amazed how these simple steps, done daily, can shift your energy, improve your sleep, and give you back the comfort you didn't realize you were missing. You don't have to live in fear of the next bathroom trip. You don't have to suffer in silence. Your prostate can heal. Your bladder can regain control. And you can feel like yourself again, confident, strong, and in control. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Most men never hear this information until it's too late. But now you know. Now you can act.